on the 31st and not maybe after the Supreme Court made its ruling, which will be made on Friday 1st. So that is what is happening in the parliamentary business today, and we expect to see more from it. Michael?
Thank you very much. Patrick Mimo giving us an update of what is expected today, as senators are also given their orientation. And, well, that, of course, we're going to keep our eyes on and keep you updated as that comes out. But now, an epic battle is expected in the National Assembly and the Senate during the election of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Regional balance, party strength, ability to mobilize will be at play during the election. In studio, I have with me Catherine Omanyo, who's a nominated member of Parliament, hopeful, and well, welcome to the studio. And of course, a very busy 12th Parliament expected. Maybe we can just start by outlining what is expected and what is on their in-tray as they are sworn in tomorrow.
We expect them to, first of all, remember that they are unconstitutional, so they should put the House in order first. We think the 2/3 gender rule has not been looked into very seriously, and I think we have so many lobby groups out there, including women candidates who vied, have come together to push for it to go through, because we must be felt and we must make sure that whatever we have as a right is not disenfranchised. So I know that even the president is aware, and I hope that before they do anything, they will think of making sure the House is in order.
Is in order. Now, you're the director of Women Candidates Kenya. What is that all about? And what is your objective?
Our objective as worker, we want the women who went in the fields, who ran for different positions, and by bad luck, because of so many odds, they never made it, to be given first priority during nomination. Unfortunately, there is a section in the Constitution that bars any candidate who vied from being nominated. The same Constitution gives us again the right to vie. So we want some repealing done and a few top-ups done before that bill now goes through, so that in future, most women are not demoralized. At the moment, most people who get nomination slots are either friends, family members, maybe girlfriends of...
But now, don't you think, Catherine, it would be unfair to the electorate, given that they spoke, their voice was heard at the ballot, assuming it was heard and heard clearly, for them then to be nominated, because that would be seen as getting in through the back door?
Not really. If you go to vie, you do not only go because you want to be elected. There is something that makes you wake up every day, leave your family, sacrifice a lot just to look for votes. That one alone is something that people should look into, because most women, if we go the affirmative way, we will be sitting there positioning ourselves to be known very well in the party because we will be nominated. But if somebody wakes up in the morning every day to go look for votes, there is something in her that she wants to add. She wants to be part of a solution in our nation. And that vision is the one that drives that person daily, be it a man or a woman. Remember, today, it will be women crying for 2/3 gender rule. But they'll reach a time when also men will maybe the ones saying, hey, this gender rule must be looked into.
And that is all right, Catherine, but my concern here is that you're pushing for women who went for elective seats but were not elected to be nominated. And my point here being the fact that they went for elective seats, which people went to vote and they were not voted for. That should have been a voice to tell them that, thank you, we appreciate that you tried, but not this time.
The challenges. There are so many odds. The difficulties, traditions are still holding on so many people. And I can give a case of, a case study using my experience. The first time I vied, I was 26 years. And I was called a girl, not, like mature, ready to lead. 2013, I was still single. And all people who could come across me would say, you know, get a man first, get a husband first. We must see you taking care of a husband and children before you talk of wanting to lead. And from there, many other people say, hey, at the moment being led by a woman, not yet. So we have so many other things that really demoralize. Yeah, they demoralize anybody who wants, a woman who wants to go out there and vie. And remember, most of maybe our opponents who are male, they have a lot of money. Women just have the passion, the vision, but, you know, financially, the resources are very, very minimal. So those odds, those challenges are the ones that really constrain many, many women, but we do not want to demoralize them. That spirit of going out there and competing with men, because the Constitution says we are equal, should not be killed. And that is why I said, if you want to work with somebody, and that person has already started walking the talk, it is easier to continue with that person than maybe look for somebody else who is just sitting there waiting maybe for favors. We want the women candidates to be given even appointments, not only maybe going into Parliament. Yeah.
All right, now we have the 12th Parliament, which is going to be sworn in tomorrow. Yesterday they were having their orientation going on. Now, your thoughts on, first of all, what may have been the challenge in the 11th Parliament for not having the 2/3 gender bill effected, despite the fact that it is constitutional? And do you think in the 12th Parliament that is something that possibly could be overcome?
I think we lacked goodwill. That bill was really beautiful, but maybe a few things will be just done to make it look even better, thinking of future. We lacked goodwill, and like I said, some of our male counterparts, they prefer us in the kitchen. They prefer us taking care of children at home. They prefer us going to fetch water, looking for firewood. They haven't accepted very well that actually we can, you know, also do a very good job in leadership positions. So they struggle. Most of them really struggle. I even have a cousin who keeps telling me, why don't I just go and teach now that I'm a teacher? That suits me than running around. So
the challenge here then would be what? Cultural, possibly?
Yes, cultural, mostly cultural. Because few women who've made it have a lot to, you know. When I was campaigning, I was told, why am I not at home taking care of children? That means that is how that person looks at a woman, not actually looking at me as a possible leader. Yeah. Yeah.
And do you think that challenge would that be the only, first of all, would that be the only challenge that possibly hindered the 2/3 gender bill from being effected?
The goodwill. I know the Chief Justice is aware that the Constitution is our only protection. And I'm praying that he advises the President very well, so that as we keep struggling to make sure that we have numbers, at least the Constitution protects us for now. And I want to give a case study of Rwanda. The President of Rwanda cannot go ahead with Parliament unless we have enough women and men in Parliament. In 2012, he actually refused even to start off until when the Constitution threshold was looked into. So I know and I'm aware that our President Uhuru also wants the Constitution to be looked into, the 2/3 gender rule to be looked into. But the goodwill, we still need more feminists, male who know that we will work better side by side with our female, you know, counterparts. Yeah.
Okay, and do you see that challenge being overcome in the 12th Parliament?
We hope so. Otherwise, I still will ask the Chief Justice to advise the President to dissolve the Parliament because it is unconstitutional. So they'd rather just sit and do something about it. Otherwise, they will be home again. Yes.
All right. Let's move on to something else, and maybe just to get your thoughts. There was also a lot of talk around the pay for members of parliament. Your thoughts on the SRC recommendation?
It was a perfect recommendation. You know, that way...
So if you were elected as member of parliament, you're willing to go with the SRC recommendation?
Yes, in fact, it's too much. You know, if you have a vision to serve, you will not be looking at the money first. You'll be looking at, are you adding value to your people? Are you empowering them? Are you getting them from that place where they ask for fish to where they can fish for themselves? Or will you be looking for money? So I think we still have many people getting into parliament because of the price tag, the salary. But
don't you think there's a valid argument from those who are looking at it from the perspective of the amount of work that you also have to do? Because at the end of the day, yes, you're not there to make money, but you need to be facilitated to ensure that you're effective in your work.
There are so many things that people must do to make sure that they do not just wait for money first. Most of us in the villages who have vied, we have already started doing without any resources. So I think if the salary continues being smaller, it will attract the right people, visionary leaders. Otherwise, it will be attracting people who are for money, and the country will continue suffering. At the moment, the best thing a good leader will be looking into is how to come back and make sure that the economy is not in crisis, the doctors, the nurses are not striking every minute, and the teachers are okay. The students, everybody in Kenya has a happy face, than start looking into how well they'll be taken care of.
So
yes.
what would your message be to some of those members of parliament who already had indicated that they're not happy with the SRC recommendation, and as a result, that's one of the first things they're likely to table?
They should resign, because they were aware when they were campaigning that that was what had been offered. So why finish, get there, then start saying the salary is not good? They should resign if they're not happy with the salary, and leave people who are ready to serve to do it. Yeah, in fact, I think even they should be monitored more how they spend monies. Like now, CDF kitties, they should be monitored even further, because we know of cases where some of these members of parliament, they bribe auditors so that the auditors don't go into the nitty-gritties. But our country is being looked into in most of younger nations in Africa as a role model. So whatever we do now is affecting them, either negatively or positively. And if you're a role model, you need to keep being part of a solution. You need to keep adding value to people who look upon you. So I think Kenya is on the right track, although it is slowly but surely getting there. But we are saying whatever must be done now should be done now. Okay. And not like progressively. All
right, as we wind up, we have, and to use your words, we are slowly and surely getting there. Do you think that our legislators vis-a-vis the electorate, now that we're in the second term of the Constitution 2010, understand the responsibilities of members of parliament? We're coming from an era where members of parliament were almost tasked with everything, and the electorate viewed them as their solution to handouts. Whereas now that has changed with the Constitution 2010. Do you think we're at a place where we are finally getting it right, with the legislators understanding their duty and their roles, and the electorate also not demanding for what is not part of their job description?
A lot of civic engagement is needed. Actually, the stations that do their thing in vernacular should do a lot in teaching the people of Kenya. Because personally, I have experienced people coming to me, oh, my wife is, almost giving birth, my child is home, there's no fees, I slept hungry yesterday. Their perception about Mheshimiwa is wrong, even today. So we need to do a lot of civic engagement and let our people know that it is not their member of parliament to solve their problems, but they should be part of a solution in getting our problems solved. So our members of parliament have been tasked a lot, and that is why I think they needed a lot of salaries to maybe pay back what they have lost during campaigns. Most of them were bribing people to get into office, and they disappear for 5 years and come back. But I think our members of parliament or anybody in the public office or even private should know their roles clearly. Most people get there without knowing what they want to do even for the first 90 days or the first year. Up to 50th year, they have no idea. Most of them think it's about taking care of the CDF kitty. Even if it is that, I think their roles should be well defined.
I think they are well defined.
And our people should own the vision of their constituencies. And this vision, it is them to ask their members of parliament to come and do things. Most of the times, the members of parliament just arrive and do whatever they think in their heart. They don't ask their people what they need. Problems in different wards are not the same. So I think our people, once they understand that the members of parliament are their servants and they are the bosses, they will call shots. So my prayer is our people understand that it is them to send their members of parliament to do things, and they should give timelines. If it's within 3 months, that project should be done within 3 months. If it is 1 year, and that way, I think it will be like developed nations. Because I've lived in UK, I've lived in America, where members of parliament are not actually overtasked. They only do things according to the vision of that particular constituency, and they make sure that they have done it according to the timelines, and people say, well done. If they deserve to go back, then the people will decide without bribing.
Without bribing. All right, finally, your expectation. I know the 2/3 gender bill is one of the things that you'd expect that the 12th Parliament is going to pass this time and soon, sooner than later. But anything else that you'd expect the 12th Parliament to have effected that possibly the 11th Parliament did not?
The health bill. Actually, it is in a quagmire. I don't like seeing doctors and nurses and also our teachers all the time planning to strike. I think it is a high time our government thought of cutting more wastages. You know, we have a lot of money doing a lot of nothing. If everything is streamlined in these departments, I think Kenya will develop very fast.
All right. Thank you very much, Catherine Omaya, who's the Director of Women Candidates Kenya. And thank you for joining us this morning on the Dawn Debate.
You're welcome.